Welcome to Fort Fritz, your one-stop for news, current events, and all forms of entertainment relating to the paranormal, the supernatural, the Fortean, and things that go bump in the night, all packaged and presented in the form of know-nothing know-it-alls, entertaining the unknown. Hello, I am your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy.
Hi.
Angela.
Hello.
And Kaz.
Hello.
You can always follow us on iHeartRadio. We are an iHeartRadio station, so it makes sense to download the iHeartRadio app. You can listen to radio absolutely free wherever you go, wherever you wander in the great abyss.
If you're wandering in an abyss.
Or, in your car. Just download it.
Just at home.
Either the abyss
Florida,
or car.
Whatever, the I-4.
Yep.
I-4 is the abyss now when you think about it.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
true.
Ugh.
Zing. Take that I-4.
When we jump into the UFO phenomenon, it's also known as what?
UAP.
UAP, yeah. And that stands for
Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon.
points.
So lame.
Nicely done. Points for Kaz. Yeah, that is true. Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
It's a UFO. Just call it UFO. Why we gotta keep changing names for things?
Well, how about this? Let's change it up. Let's talk about Steve.
Hey.
What do you guys know about Steve?
Is that an acronym?
No, just a dude.
Space time.
Space Steve?
Space Steve.
So Steve is a color that appears in the night sky sometimes.
Oh, that's right. I've heard of this.
Yep. Back in 2017, Steve was first,
I love that.
I guess, named. So
When was the first time you saw Steve?
from atlasobscura.com, we get the article, Scientists Demystify the Celestial Phenomenon Known as Steve.
Oh my gosh.
Experts say he's just a cool dude.
Several times a year, around the border between the U.S. and Canada, Steves take to the sky.
Multiple Steve.
Sky Steves.
Oh, wow, we'll catch them all.
So many Steves.
How do you put the dogs in?
Steve
Steves
season.
are out.
Yep.
It's like love bugs, but different.
Yeah.
Steve
your back.
season.
Oh, my God.
Season of the Steve.
Steve season. They are actually a celestial phenomenon that illuminates the sky with an enormous crescent of mauve light.
Ooh,
Isn't that beautiful? Mauve light.
Yeah, it's
Very
mauve in the sky.
90s.
Yep.
Okay.
And
So like tan?
it's
No,
like a
mauve
purple.
is like a light
Like a
purple.
purple.
Yeah.
It was
Mauve is
my
purple?
prom colors were silver and mauve.
I bet.
beautiful.
What am I thinking?
It's
Oh, I was
usually a
thinking
blush
taupe.
color for people. Yeah.
Well, I guess Steve was the color choice for Mandaddy's prom because it's also dashes of light green light. Now, Steve stands for Strong Thermal Emission Velocity Enhancement. Strong Thermal Emission Velocity Enhancement. And back in 2017, they officially named it, but now they think they know why exactly it's presenting like it does. So basically, when the electric and magnetic fields in Earth's magnosphere, which is why we have radio, which is amazing, that's why we see that kind of interact within the visible light, and that's why we get that interaction.
Okay.
So it's just it's a visual distortion. So if I were to, distort my microphone, just go over here, just start jacking
Look at that, look
that
at that.
bad boy like that. No, I can't. That's going to be dropped. So it's just, so this is a photo of Steve, and you can see it just sounds so stupid. So
yeah, he's a big boy.
This little band of like mauve right there, it's like very faintly seen, but you also see this kind of green glow. And that all that is just a visual distortion of the magnetosphere.
Okay.
I don't know how that's different than the northern or aurora borealis or anything like that.
Sounds similar.
But what we can see sometimes can be explained in the instance of Steve. But sometimes MUFON has to get involved. What is
Of course.
MUFON? Anyone know?
I can't remember what it stands for. But they're the UFO guys.
UFO stands for UFO. So
Right.
what is the M and N's?
Mutual UFO Network.
Oh, Angela got it. Looking at the wall. Mutual UFO Network.
Yeah,
There's no
right here.
sign. I just look at the wall and it gives me
Changes no
information.
matter what the question is.
Yeah.
They speak to me.
Coming from a May 6th published article, British witness felt seen by UFO pilot in quotation marks. A Scottish witness at Glasgow reported watching a fast-moving object emitting 3 lights that formed into a single beam. according to the testimony, in case, and this is what's amazing about MUFON, again, Mutual UFO Network, that's MUFON.com. This is case number, in case you would like to look it up, 89841 from MUFON. The witness was inside playing Xbox
Hey.
at 8:04 p.m.
Okay.
on January 24th, 2018. This happened just, a couple years back, when an extremely bright light that flashed from the UFO caught his attention. He said, I thought the object was a military aircraft or a normal jet. The object was small, it looked weird, and it had a blue-grayish tint to it. So right now we have a physically documented color, not unlike Steve, but is now able to move around in the atmosphere, kind of like a Karen.
No, that'd be a lot more annoying. That'd be a lot more annoying phenomenon. It'd be like asking for the manager and things like that.
It then created a thick white light as the three lights merged at the front. Thoughts? You have a 3 pinpoint light vessel that's what did I say in color? It was a blue grayish tint, and then it turned to a bright white, and then it created a thick white light as the three lights merged at the front.
There's a lot of video like that when it comes to lights merging. There's a lot of like triangle lights that come together. There's been a number of sightings that seems to be like a motif, if you will.
Which doesn't really seem like something that matches our understanding of, I guess, rescue or military vehicles that would have, come equipped with these big lights. They never have these like movable lights that it's always like a stationary thing.
Right. Yeah.
So that concept is a little weird and strange that it would be so ubiquitous.
So when I hear that in my head, I'm thinking like sci-fi, like the channel sci-fi, SYFY, and they would have like almost like Lifetime movies of like UFO abductions, and you would see like the witness would look up, not unlike the X-Files, that one episode where they're all on the bridge, but you would see these like the 1, 2, 3 points of light, and then you see them form into this like radioactive like tractor beam,
right?
Almost like Fire in the Sky,
the
90s movie where then he's like abducted and things like that. Anyway,
well, there's always these similar threads like the Greys and how they the aliens always have a certain look. There always seems to be common threads in a lot of alien abduction stories.
A lot of those common threads revolve around feelings, right?
Oh yeah.
So this witness says it felt something. What do you think that might have been?
Giggly.
Giggly?
It felt all giggly.
Angela, Kaz, what do you think?
Tingling.
Tingling?
Kaz?
The person playing Xbox?
Yeah, who saw this UFO.
Now, what do you think the alien was feeling at this point?
The alien was definitely had sense of purpose. They were out
the alien had
figuring out what's going on. I see this guy playing Xbox.
Ambition.
Swoop down on him.
He's like, you think those graphics are cool? Check this
Check
out.
this out.
Yeah.
Come and step into my lair.
You got nothing. The witness said that they felt threatened.
Ooh.
They also had another strange feeling. I felt that whatever was in the craft had seen me.
Oh.
Or something else, and was also scared, trying to make a swift escape. This could explain the various quick movements it was seen making. After seeing the craft, I felt weird, like it hadn't really happened. I also felt a connection with the craft, and felt like it was not evil, which is interesting that they even say that in this report.
I agree.
I lost visual contact when it managed to do 5 or 6 quick movements, seemingly defying what direction it had intended to go in, before hovering and vanishing. MUFON field investigator Robert Young, hat tip, closed this case as an unknown other. So, didn't know what it was, but it was viable enough. I just thought that was interesting. Evil.
It's a little weird to describe something that would be that, mysterious and outside your realm of understanding as evil. Like, you don't know what it is.
Well, there's been several sightings. I think Stephen Hawking was one of them that said that, look, you probably shouldn't hope aliens get here. Because the good chances are they're not going to be friendly. That there's a good chance they're either conquering for us or looking for resources, and we're just in the way.
Yep.
So we shouldn't. The way that we've romanticized them might not be the best idea.
Just a few days later, a Turkish Airlines pilot captured cell phone footage of a UFO during a flight.
Ooh.
Would you like to see it?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So
there it is. Just a dot.
This is probably around, if I had to guess, cruising altitude of at least 30,000, maybe even a little higher. I don't think this video has any audio, but this is what was taken outside of the left-hand airplane, I guess, of this Turkish flight. So here we go.
This is a commercial flight.
You see it right there? Yeah.
Oh.
It was way up above to the left. So this is a daytime video footage. It's 11 seconds long. That's the only. I would hope a Turkish pilot would only film for 11 seconds. He wanted to film something. He definitely got it. This is
a good Turkish accent.
Great visibility. Would you not say?
Yeah.
Very clear.
Beautifully blue skies. There is a band of clouds right in the middle. This is from singular14.com. The cockpit has a view of the whole horizon from the left window. On the Cologne flight, we saw an incredibly bright celestial body at high altitude. It was not a satellite or a star. Then it disappeared at an incredible speed. It was very close to us and very bright despite the sun. I have never seen anything flying so fast. Cabin supervisor Efsin Selin Cesar butchered that one. And first officer Oscar Urdis also reportedly witnessed the object. So the pilot, Sinturk, his footage is just the latest in a slew of recent reports from commercial pilots. A radio broadcast from February of 2018 contained a conversation between two pilots that we've mentioned on Fort Fritz that was over Nevada. And it just seems like this is not news anymore, which I think is telling that so many stories pop up every week now of pilots who are saying, hey, look, if the Navy is going to mention this, we need to mention this too.
We don't know if it's alien technology. We don't know if it's a foreign government or maybe even our own government just not telling us something. But there is something going on, and there's something out there we need to know.
I agree. If you would like to see this footage, go to realradio.fm, click shows and blogs, click Fort Fritz. Turkish Airlines pilot captures cell phone footage of UFO during flight. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Angela. She's going to tell us all about that latest Game of Thrones episode that everyone hated, loved. Don't go anywhere. Entertainment news coming up. You are listening to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1.
So quickly, Lord, there was no time to wonder. So we jump on board and we take all night thunder.
The spectrum and the nine.
Yeah, we all night thunder.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Welcome back to Fort Fritz right here on Real Radio 104.1. I am Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy.
Hi.
Kaz.
Hey.
And Angela.
Hello.
Mandaddy.
Yes.
Where can people go to check out what we do?
There's so many places. We highly recommend the iHeartRadio app. You get it, you can listen to stations all over the country and literally thousands of podcasts, but only listen to ours. Only listen to ours.
Just ours.
You can also
Yes,
follow
the
us
best
on,
one.
and also check us out on all the social medias. We're on Facebook, Fort Fritz, just search for us. We're on Twitter, Fort Fritz MCT. Check us out on Instagram. We're all over the place. Say hi to us, and we might even say hi back.
Oh, yeah.
Angela, we hear there's a little TV show, a little underground TV show not a lot of people have heard of that has like some important episodes happening recently. What's that all about?
I don't know. Has anyone heard of Game of Thrones?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Possibly, a little bit.
Amazing
HBO.
A few people, not a lot of people into
indie
it.
show
Yeah,
going
really,
on,
really.
you know, grassroots. Yeah.
Is it really low budget?
No.
yeah.
Yeah. so low. No, Game of
Well,
Thrones.
it's low enough where you can't pet a dog.
Oh,
Nice. Thank you.
that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a warning for listeners. Lots of spoilers.
Spoilers
ahead.
coming.
Spoiler!
Please don't get mad at us. We're
Get mad
warning
at
you
the
right
writers.
now. Yeah, get mad at the writers. Here's the thing. I'm not hating this season as much as everyone else is.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying it. It's one of those things where if you are someone who does creative things, you can kind of understand if you have money and time and other producers and other things jumping in and changing things. Like sometimes things just aren't as perfect as they need to be. Even saying that, I'm enjoying the season.
Yeah, I'm just having
liking
fun with it.
I do think it feels very rushed. I do wish that they had full seasons.
How does it feel rushed?
I used to really love a lot of the dialogue within the show. Like there would just be some really good, meaty things that people would say.
Kaz
and
has
good
mentioned that too,
lines.
exposition.
And for instance, Peter Dinklage is one of the best people on that show.
Oh,
He
yeah.
plays Tyrion Lannister. And I feel like in the last 2 seasons, you barely get any of his amazing, witty comebacks and wise things that he says. And it's kind of a shame. I feel like Tyrion was like the main protagonist in the show for a very long time. If you really look at the whole show as a whole, he has pretty much been everywhere. He's been in every a scene with almost everybody in the show. He's met almost every single person. He's been up and down Westeros. He's been to Essos. He's been back. He has served this person. He's worked with this person. I mean, and then survived. And then you have the last 2 seasons, and he just feels very like underused.
Oh, well,
which has been kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't hate it. I'm still not super disappointed, and it's kind of annoying to be watching it like all over your Facebook feed of people just
worst thing ever. I'm not even gonna watch the finale.
And I'm I do see that there are issues with it, but I'm not hating it.
What I think is funny is that I've seen so many people just with this, yelling about the writing, lazy writing, or this, or it should have been this way or this way. And these are people that have never written a damn thing in their life.
Exactly.
And it's like
you have no idea what that's like.
Yeah, you don't. And also, what it is? Well, I'm saying a lot of them. A lot of them have not written.
That holds up.
Yeah, a lot of them have not written scripts for instead an 8-year TV show.
And I've also read something where this guy was on Twitter, and he kind of went through this whole 24 tweet thing about planning versus pantsing. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
So there's planning where you know exactly where things are going, and then there's pantsing, which is what it sounds like, flying by the seat of your pants, and just kind of writing, which is kind of what George R. R. Martin does.
And Lost.
And yes, people have actually compared Game of Thrones now to Lost, where
Wow.
everyone's just like, what's going on with this? Like, I feel like it was one thing, and now it's feeling like this other thing.
Uh-huh.
And instead of the characters kind of driving with their personalities, they kind of have a result. And now the characters, instead of being themselves, are kind of making decisions to fulfill this end result. So that's where a lot of people are feeling like
I can see that.
everyone seems like they're not really their character anymore. They're just fulfilling this end scene now. And
Well,
it's
you
feeling
can
very
almost think
rushed.
it's like it's almost like the battle map that they're showing how they're just really just pawns in the Game of Thrones.
It's basically like they're all plots now.
Yeah.
They're all so
spoilers.
this last episode was awesome.
I loved it.
And now here's what I can say, and I've said this to a bunch of people recently. There's one director, Miguel Sapochnik, who has directed all of my favorite episodes. That has been Hard Home, Windsor Winter, Battle of the Bastards.
I love that. Yeah, you know every
the
episode.
Long Night, and then The Bells. And these are all episodes that also the showrunners, D.B. Weiss and David Benioff, have written. And they're also the episodes where you always hear different music, like arrangements of music. You'll be watching it and you'll be like, oh, I've never heard that tone of that music before.
Yeah.
Like the way they went in, that's beautiful. Like the piano that they used in Windsor Winter when they're getting ready to go for the trial at the Sept.
Okay.
He had never used piano in the show before. It
That's
had
true.
always been strings.
Yeah.
So,
oh, nice.
So things like that are always in the episodes that he directs, and I have no idea if that's his call but the pacing of his episodes. They're
Brilliant
always
pacing.
You could have someone watch Hard Home, Battle of the Bastards that have never seen this show before ever and be compelled. Oh, I know who that person is. Like that's the good person, that's the bad person. You like this person, you get who they are immediately from beginning to end.
Mhm.
It goes from action to something really spooky and scary or slow to this like epic. I mean, he just does beautiful episodes. And The Bells is basically one Daenerys, who is the Targaryen.
Mhm.
She's on her dragon and she goes to King's Landing to get what is hers, which is the
Badass,
Iron
yeah.
Throne.
Mhm.
And,
hers.
Get that thing.
hers.
Well, I mean, and
She really wants it.
She really wants it. She's like the Jeb Bush of Westeros. Can I just have it?
Just give it to her.
All right.
and and that's
Please
one of
clap.
those things that I was reading in this article recently. With George R. R. Martin, he even mentioned he was like he got Daenerys to Marine, and then she kind of got stuck there, and he wasn't really sure what to do with her once she kind of got stuck in Marine.
Yeah.
And the show has taken her past that, and everything's been so escalated and she has lost everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone aside from Grey Worm, basically. All of her advisors, her best friends, the only people who loved her. Now her lover, who is now, they realize her nephew. Like,
and he's not down. He's not down to clown.
And that bothers him.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, she's from the South. They're all about it. In the North, they don't do that. In the South, so, come on, do it.
So she goes to have this battle at King's Landing, and they surrender. They ring the bells, and she's like, nah, I'm just going to burn it down.
I really like the scene where it's like, it takes forever. They're like, ring the bells, and then there's like 4 minutes of no one ringing the bells. They're like,
what does that mean, ring the bells?
That means they surrendered.
They surrendered.
Okay, gotcha,
The city
gotcha.
surrendered. Everyone like threw down their swords. So they were like calling, ring the bells, like from like the walls, and no one's ringing the bells. And then finally the bell starts to ring, and then they're super discordant and insane sounding. And that's when she's like, you can see her like decide to snap, basically.
A lot of people were mad.
Yeah, a lot of people were mad, from what I heard.
If the episode was twice as long, then they could have focused on that her descent, right? The understanding that she was betrayed and that she's alone and all that. They did a good job with the time they had to show that she was like descending into this like, you know, distraught state, this like lonely place. But it seemed to just kind of jump, like she was just like staring out the window, kind of sad with no makeup, and then
the first time we've seen her that disheveled since like season 1.
Oh, you right,
Yeah.
where she's like wandering in a desert with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looked pretty.
Yeah, 'cause she's always so
sallow
perfect.
and-
She's always, you know, everyone's completely battle torn, and she's
then
like in blue.
she put it back together.
Who is this? You guys
Daenerys.
just keep saying she. Okay.
Daenerys.
She put it back together for her move on John that night.
Well, you got to look good for your man.
And
You gotta look good for your
Somebody
nephew.
Thank you.
You got to clean it up.
Good for your nephew. You're gonna get down with.
take a bath. So what made me sad was
God
somebody
damn it,
pointed
Angela.
out. Someone pointed out that her braids are all like a little off now because Miss Sandy's not there to braid her hair anymore.
Oh man!
That's
Right?
really
Spoiler.
sad.
I also saw that, though, and I don't watch the show. So
That
Yeah.
stung when I heard
It's
that. I was
really
like,
hard to
ooh.
braid your hair when you can't see what's going on if you're
And she's
not really
got a lot
good
of
at
it,
it.
right?
She's
Like,
got
she's
a
got a
lot
big
of
mane.
hair. She's got a lot of
Yeah,
hair.
beautiful hair.
Dude, that's deep.
Yeah.
Right?
That
Isn't
is
that
dark.
sad?
And also one other thing that you may or may not have picked up on, I think Varys was poisoning her.
Oh, he's trying to.
Yeah, he was trying
What?
to poison
How?
her.
At the very beginning,
Remember
the very part
the
of
very
the episode.
beginning when one of the little kids comes in and
She's a cook?
She was like, all the guards are watching me. And he
Yeah.
was like, no, don't worry. Like, high risk, high reward. Don't worry about it. She's like, but she's not eating. And he was like, ah, damn.
Try again at dinner.
Try again at dinner.
Yeah, he was
I think
trying
he's
to kill
poisoning
her.
her.
Oh, he
Yeah.
was trying to.
Because he
Yeah.
was writing the
So
whole
what
letter.
was the rings? What were the rings?
That he
you get
took
them?
off?
Yeah, and put
He
in
knew
the
he
cup.
was going to die.
I think it was just showing that he knew. It was
Yeah.
just showing acceptance. But but his first letter got out there.
Yeah.
And because that's one of the things. It's one of the most visually brilliant shows.
Yeah.
You could just turn off the sound and just watch some of the scenes.
It's
How
gorgeous.
well it's shot.
Yes.
Varys, I love that character. He was just because
Right.
you
He's
know.
one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
Because he
was.
was basically like, I don't enjoy blind loyalty. I don't think that should be something that anyone does. You should follow somebody who you believe in, and if that person proves that they're not worthy of it, then you should be able to switch sides. And that's how he was. He was like, I
Yeah.
want the good of the realm. I want the good of the people. And he had that fear that she was going to snap like that. And
And
he
she
was,
do.
and he was right. But he was dead right, unfortunately.
Aw.
Boom, boom,
Bum, bum,
boom.
bum.
Well, that's a bummer.
I know. She became Queen of the Ashes as they were trying to warn her she was going to be, and she is now. So
Did the throne get melted?
we don't know.
Yeah.
So this next episode's going to be Sunday on HBO, right?
This
Yes.
next episode is
Final.
Sunday, the 19th, the
Just-
final
yep.
episode, 9 o'clock on HBO.
All right, well, there you go. Angela, thank you so much for being brave also and finally saying, you know what, I don't care anymore. Spoilers.
It is done.
Also, I have a live and die list that I made before the season started, and I was pretty much dead on except for 2 people that I thought would live.
Quickly go through who you thought would have still been alive.
You want to read everyone I thought would still be alive?
No, let's just do from this.
Top 2.
And again, spoiler.
Spoilers. Game of Thrones spoilers.
I thought Lyanna Mormont would live.
I
Okay.
hoped.
All right.
I hoped.
Yeah.
That was an easy
But she
kill.
went out well.
And I also thought Varys would live.
Oh.
I did.
I didn't think-
did.
I wanted to. I thought he
did.
would see the
wanted
writing on
to.
the wall. I felt like he was smart enough to
But
see it coming.
if we're talking about Jon versus Dany, I think Dany's going to die and Jon's going to live.
Yep.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Angela, thank you for that. Coming up, we have Mandaddy. He's going to break down a trailer for Watchmen. Do you remember Watchmen?
who watches The Watchmen? Hopefully
Exactly.
these people listening.
And Kaz is going to be talking about the HBO show Chernobyl and also the 2018 film Predator.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Little toe tap there.
Welcome back to Fort Fritz. We are toe tapping our way through
tapping
segment 3
away.
here. Trying something new, as you do. I am your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy,
Hi.
Kaz,
Howdy.
and Angela.
Hello.
Mandaddy,
Yes.
have you seen movies recently that are any good?
A few. Some good, some bad. But I hear that Kaz has one that he's doesn't really have the best review of, and he has something else he wants to bring up that he actually has a better review of. So, what you got there for us, Kazzy?
So the better review is of Chernobyl, the new miniseries on HBO.
Okay, so it's a miniseries. How many episodes? Is it season 1?
I believe it's gonna be 8 total.
Okay.
And 2 have been released. I think a third one is upcoming. It has a weird release schedule. They're like on Mondays and Tuesdays and Sundays and whatever the hell they want. That's how,
like
the,
Fort
how the
Fritz.
Ruskies do it.
I never know like how HBO like. I feel like everything's just on Sundays, but I have no idea.
Everything seems to be on Sunday.
Yeah.
Barry's on Sunday.
Yeah.
John Oliver.
So it was created and written by Craig Mazin and directed by a man named Johan Renck.
Rank.
And just right off the bat, I'll say so the cast is spectacular, performance is fantastic, but the visual, the cinematography, the visuals of this show are what stand out the most. I think they've combined several key characters that were featured during the actual event into one or two more entertaining type of it's like 7-8 different scientists are condensed into this one woman who comes forward and has her own kind of independent study about the thing and
Interesting.
different government committee boards, etc. Like so,
Is it based on a true story?
yeah. So yeah, the
really?
It's all about what happened in Chernobyl that we didn't get to hear about.
Chernobyl was the reactor, and the town around it was Pripyat, which is now abandoned. There's no one that lives there, right?
Yeah.
Because they had to
There's
evacuate
nothing
the place.
living there.
Basically, the first 2 episodes have come out, and what we've covered so far is the initial reactor explosion and then the initial government response to that. And as you can imagine, it was pretty secretive. The Russian government didn't want it getting out, A, their nuclear capabilities as far as what they were doing with these different reactors, and B, the fact that they had screwed up, a bad ecological problem was
Yeah.
looming for...
We screwed up. We
Right.
messed up.
Yeah, not many countries would want to say, "Hey guys, on the international scale, we made
Guess what?
so bad."
You know what?
We
No
made
one's
bad.
ever accountable like that.
No.
It's so bothersome to
Except
me.
for Chile.
for at least for aliens, they come out and they're like, "Hey, look, we saw some aliens." Everything else, they're like very.
Very secretive other than that.
The environmental impact was measured outside of the country, like pretty early, like within a day or two, saying, "Hey, we're seeing these isotopes that could only come from this type of fuel that
Oh,
is
man.
generated in these reactors. What's going on?"
Like
And
a byproduct.
The whole time, the Chernobyl power plant's not answering their phone, so everyone's calling them like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, we'll tell you when we get a chance to."
Wow, I didn't know any of this.
Oh, that's the whole thing about it. There's a lot that no one knew that the whole
right.
show is going to be about.
So it follows the man's name, and I'm going to have to look it up, Valery Legasov, and played by Jared Harris, who's been in a number of different things. You would recognize him if you see it.
Mad Men.
Look it up. There you go. Thank you.
Wow. Again,
She's so good with
His
that stuff.
dad is Richard Harris, who was
King Lear.
King Arthur in Camelot.
so okay, let me just interject right now, okay? And cue
Alley-oop
the
points.
music. Here we go. Angela, I've
He
had
was also
about,
Dumbledore, I believe.
I've had about 3
Oh, yeah.
Stop, just stop
He
it.
was the,
Oh my
was he
God.
the second?
Now you're just
Now you're just flossing.
freestyling.
You're
Yeah,
flossing.
exactly. Like you're just
Stop
hot
it.
dogging on us.
I've had about 3 people, Angela, within the past couple of weeks say, is she really that good? Because
Yeah.
she's that good.
I'm not looking at my phone.
You should play some trivia.
It also stars Stellan Skarsgård, who is the sire of the famous acting Skarsgårds.
Skarsgård sire.
He has like 7 children.
There's a lot of the man
Walter
is prolific.
Skarsgård, I saw today, is going to be in a movie, and I didn't even know that was a kid.
These
Walter,
Skarsgårds are all over the place. Which
Valter.
this is like I said, it's a fictionalized historical drama based on Chernobyl. So it's not the events aren't exactly what happened. There's several key. I read a review. Apparently, some of them have been released outside of the U.S. that other people have been able to review. So I read some of those reviews. Kind of, I guess, a spoiler.
So this isn't out on
Spoiled
HBO
yourself.
yet. This is
Right.
just a trailer.
No, there's 2 episodes
There's
out.
2 episodes out. The full season, I believe, is available outside of the U.S., but it is a joint production with Sky Network, so it's like HBO and Sky. So that's what I kept noticing while I'm watching it. They're like, "Hello, friends, welcome to the nuclear reactor," and then the guy's like, just comes up with the crispest British accent. He's like, "Call the fire brigade, mate. The control panel's on the Fritz."
Today I learned that you do a way better Russian than you do a British accent. Your Russian was dope.
Your
man.
Russian was really
Hey,
dope.
Dope Russian accent, bro.
how rude.
So yeah, I thought that was very funny, and I kept trying to like place it. I'm like, why are some of them committing to like the Slavic accent, and some of them do not care? They're just like going full British. So it's a Sky Network, which is a British production company, and like I said, very visually striking. The performances are fantastic. It's just it's going to be too slow for a lot of people to like really get a hold of. There's a lot of cool moments of this like. What I liked a lot was it kind of features, in addition to the the surreptitious nature of the Russian government at that time, it features this like
Good word.
these the heroicism of like the common Russian people, which these are true stories about these dudes. They were like, hey, look, you have to go under the power plant and shut these valves off, and you're going to die within a week after you go down there.
Oh my god.
And they had a room full of the power plant workers. These are not like Marines or special forces.
Or
They're just like
frogmen.
Just
dudes
engineers.
who work at the power plant. They got them all in a room. They're like, hey, look, you guys are the ones that are left. We need 3 of you to die next week for Russia. And then 4 dudes stand up. And I was just like, oh,
Wow.
yeah, that's
wow.
awesome. It was a very those little moments of people. There's always like a dude hauling another dude who's just like melting away of radiation sickness, and he's like trying to save his buddy or whatever. It's
Radiation
like,
sickness just looks horrible.
Oh man, there's so many crazy stories about radiation sickness. There's
you melt.
yeah, there's one actually that happened. Sorry, Mandaddy,
no, sorry.
if I may. It was a walking ghost event, and it was, I think, in Utah, and they were explaining how when the 2 uranium half spheres meet, it's critical mass immediately. Something happened where the 2 spheres met. He immediately picked it up, and within like 14 days, they all died, but they went through that walking ghost radiation sickness, which is just terrifying to think about.
So that is part of the dramatization of the show, in that the people are experiencing the effects of radiation sickness like pretty immediately, like within 5 minutes. Like a dude picks up a piece of like graphite that was supposed to house these like uranium rods, and he immediately just drops it in his hand, is starting to like, he's like experiencing a lot of pain. They say that it usually takes a lot longer for radiation sickness and things like that to happen. So there weren't as many immediate deaths following the initial explosion.
So you're talking about these episodes are not 7 days long?
No. It's actually it's the beginning is fantastic. It grips you. There's a very interesting scene. The very first scene is very interesting, and it takes place exactly. It's a death that takes place exactly 2 years and 1 minute after the initial explosion at Chernobyl.
Wow.
So it
Which
starts
is actually
off
a
with
true
like a
story.
non-linear kind of like.
Correct. Yeah, you get
cool.
the future, and then it kind of cuts back and shows
Okay.
you what happened
Okay.
prior to that. I also jumped on. I saw Predator, and I think we were talking about Predator here. I was talking about Predator.
I don't
with
think we
somebody.
saw. I don't think we talked about.
I
that.
love that series. It's silly, campy, alien horror stuff, and
Yeah.
I dig it.
Is it a quick, like, kind of slog through? You can just kind of like start it and get through.
Predator 1 and 2 are like classic movies.
Yeah.
You should have watched those
so that's
already.
1986 Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator, right?
86, 87,
And
yeah,
then
something
Predator
like that.
2 was in LA
Like
with
96,
Donald Glover.
97. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom, perfect. Maria Conchita Alonso.
So this is a new movie, and it came out.
This came out
The
last year.
Predator.
It's just called
2018?
The Predator, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to pull it. So Shane Black was the guy who directed it, and he also directed and wrote the initial Lethal Weapon movie.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
probably why Donald Glover is
Yeah.
affiliated
Tie through.
with number 2.
Buddies.
Directed by Shane Black, who, like I said, did the Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. I think he wrote the script for 2. But this one stars Boyd Holbrook. Keegan-Michael Key is in this.
Nice.
Yes, he is.
And Olivia Munn and Thomas Jane and Alfie Allen.
Ooh, Alfie Allen's
I forgot
great.
he was in
Right?
it.
He has 4 lines in the
Yeah.
whole movie. He's just
Oh,
there.
underused.
He's kind of just there. That's the whole thing. Everyone has little lines. It's very quippy, very 80s action. A lot of gore, like
Lot of gore.
So was it
very
good?
gory. From my, I would give it like a solid. Give me like a 3.5. I give it a 3.5 beard pulls. Like it was.
It's not.
It's not.
that good.
It's not unwatchable. It was just clunkily
Yeah.
put together at the end. Like 19 different things going on, plus the unit of crazy people, and plus Olivia Munn. Second scene in the movie is a doctor or like a biologist, right? She has to show up to this like secret research facility where they have this like alien, the predator, like laying on like a gurney. And they're like, you have to go through the decontamination process. So she has to get naked. In order for her to leave the lab, she has to go back through the decontamination thing and get naked
no.
again. And I was just like, what are we even...
There's
what
2
are we
reasons they did that. Olivia Munn.
Very much a callback to that schlocky kind of like 80s stuff that doesn't really... Rank tone deaf.
All right, well, Mandaddy, coming up, you will tell us all about a trailer you recently watched for
Yes.
The Watchmen. You're listening to For Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Fort Fritz on Real Radio 104.1.
Welcome back to Fort Fritz. I'm your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy, joined as always by Angela
Hello.
and Kaz.
And Kaz.
Well, Mandaddy,
Yes.
you just forced us to watch something that was very unsettling.
Yeah, I do that.
Can you explain it to us, please?
Yeah, coming up on HBO, since this is the all HBO show today, is a new show based on the classic Alan Moore graphic novel known as The Watchmen.
And if you want to see this trailer, go to realradio.fm, click shows and blogs, click Fort Fritz. You'll see it.
You'll see all the videos we post, everything we talk about on the show, you can see there on the Fort Fritz blog on realradio.fm. Now, this is not, because there was a movie, there was a Watchmen movie that some people loved, some people hated.
I liked it.
I liked it. I think I think some of the scenes they did were absolutely perfect. I think what's his name that did Negan did a great job as the comedian.
He was Negan. I completely forgot about that. Oh my god.
Negan was the comedian.
Who's the
Negan
guy?
comedian.
Nicki
Minaj.
Haley, Nikki something.
Yeah,
Nikki,
that's who played Rorschach.
yeah. And
Yeah.
he was also Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was also in Preacher
Oh, yeah,
and a bunch
he's
of other
so
stuff.
good.
Yeah, and he got his start from Bad News Bears, where he played Kelly.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There you go. That's points.
There you go. Thank you. This is like they're saying it's like a reimagining or a remix of it. And it seems like it's taking place like several years after the end of the original Watchmen. And if you've never read a graphic novel, this is the one to start off with. Just if you're like, oh, I don't know about comic books or whatever, get this graphic novel. The Watchmen is just one of the most important works of the comic book industry. It's just absolutely beautiful, brilliant, great writing, great everything. And it seems like this is taking place after the events of that, where Rorschach's notebook has been leaked to the press, where they know about what happened with all the superheroes, where they know that there was a fake apocalypse. That I thought his name was pronounced Ozymandias, but it's Ozymandias.
Oh, really?
That's why I was watching an English report on this. And they kept on saying Ozymandias,
Whoa,
but I thought it was Ozymandias. English, I know they got different words for everything.
They say tomato.
Right, yeah, they do.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
I love that one.
Yeah.
So Ozymandias, but this is looking really good. The one people are really worried because it's the writer or creator of Lost, who also did The Leftovers, or I don't know if he's a creator, but one of the writers of Lost and The Leftovers. And everybody's like, oh, well, he's always got these lofty goals and great ideas and never lands them. That always goes off into the stratosphere and never
That's
solves
his thing,
anything.
though. I think that's the point. It's to like,
Is that a good thing, though?
I don't know.
None of your stories make any sense. That's my thing.
That's the thing. It's supposed to be confusing and it'll never just like
like a
that's
show.
life.
That's
Sometimes
fair.
your questions don't
You're
get
right.
answered.
You're right. That's
I
fair.
totally agree with Angela because, just look at David Lynch.
Yeah.
David Lynch is a perfect example of
He had
that.
2 women choose to be lesbian in one scene out of the blue, and then they get their memory back. It's like, what?
David Lynch movies are very strange.
They're very strange.
I know lots of people that just really, really hate David Lynch.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people.
A lot of people.
This is going to be interesting. It's got Don Johnson in it, which, hey, come on, the guy's had a heck of a career. It's just, it seems like it's got a lot to work with because it's the best source material you could hope for. So you could do it really well, or you could really screw the pooch on this one. I'm hoping no pooches get screwed because I'm such a fan of the Watchmen, and I want to see it done well. Now, since y'all are, you know the Watchmen, y'all are just vaguely familiar. What are your thoughts from seeing the trailer? Does it look like something you'd be interested in?
Oh, absolutely. It looks like it's going to be super epic and dark, and there's some really good people in it, and I'm really excited.
Did you see the movie, The Watchmen?
Yes, it's been a long time though.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah,
Speaking
When
of dark,
was that done?
ooh,
2001?
4?
I want to say 2007.
Maybe slightly after
Maybe-
2. Yeah, I would say like
2009.
2009.
Really?
I was
Damn,
10
I was
years.
way off.
I was close. I was close. Angela, let me just say this. While we were watching that trailer, you said there are awards given out for the best trailer.
Yeah, watching trailers, they're compelling. They tie you in, not knowing anything. People, you can watch a trailer and you're like, I'm in, just by editing and music and specific moments that they pick. And it leaves everything vague, but gives you just enough of a taste of something that you just want more of it. So as soon as you watch that trailer, you're like, I want to watch that. And
That's
it could
the
be
key.
complete crap, right?
Right,
But the
sure.
trailer made it look so good.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
But I hate, and so it made me stop watching trailers for a long time, where trailers got into the habit of giving away way
The
too much.
whole
Or the
thing.
whole movie.
Okay.
Sometimes the whole movie is in the trailer.
Don Johnson's in
Don
it.
Johnson's
Like,
wearing his shirt's unbuttoned a little
You got
bit. He's
me
wearing a
with
he's
cowboy
wearing
hat.
a cowboy hat.
He looks all
TikTok,
daddy.
He's always wearing a cowboy
let's
hat
do
nowadays.
this.
Allow me just to say this. Everyone is wearing a very creepy ass mask.
That's the
Yeah.
Rorschach mask.
Yeah.
But everyone, just from what I saw, it looked a little different, like every one of them, but like the same, and that was unsettling.
It's like an ink
but then you also
Rorschach
just saw
ink blot.
people with just cloth masks,
Yeah.
like tightly wound around, like they're just
It's very
jaw.
comic booky. Yeah, everything like.
But comic booky,
Scary
but
as
like
hell,
real,
though.
realistic.
Yes,
Exactly.
scary
Yes.
as hell.
Yeah.
Oh hell!
Here's my question. Who is this Rorschach person, and where do you get all these pictures of my parents yelling at each other?
Am
Nice.
I right?
What's that, a George Carlin?
No, it's an old joke. I wouldn't rip off George.
Do you mind if I post that trailer on realradio.fm?
Actually, I highly recommend you do.
Okay, well there you go. Realradio.fm. It'll be trending.
Yeah, just click on the blog, click on Fort Fritz, and you'll find all of our stuff. But right now, it is time for us and all of you to check out. Welcome to the checkout. What do you have for us to check out there, Fritz?
Well, there's an old Brazilian metal band that I really, really love called Sepultura.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
I've been recently diving back into Chaos AD and
God.
We Who Are Not Like Others. That's what you should check out.
That's really good stuff. I've seen them play live a few times, and always just brilliant.
Likewise.
What do you have there, Angela?
Well, I'm going to plug it till it's over.
Do it.
Got my show, Does That Make Sense? At Fringe Festival here in Orlando. The 19th, the 23rd, and the 25th at the venue. Fritz edited our music and our videos. We couldn't have done it without him. It's beautiful.
I have
I'm
work
so
to do.
excited. There's still so much work to do, even choreography. It's a dance show.
It's gonna be
but
perfect.
it's going to be wonderful, and
so good.
I'm really excited about it. It's the first time I've ever produced anything and choreographed anything. It's the first
Awesome.
time doing something like this before, so I'm excited.
And that's a great place to do it.
Yeah, the venue's great. It's a great dance venue as well, specifically because it's owned by a dancer.
Yes, it
so,
is.
Yeah.
And Kaz, what do you have for us to check out?
Check out the It Chapter 2 trailer. It is the one that I saw. I don't know if they have any others, but it's basically like an entire scene, and it's actually one of the scenes from the book, and it was one of the creepier scenes, and it is cool, and I'm excited about it, so check it out.
Awesome. As always, please come out and check me out. I do trivia games all over the damn place. I'm at Lucky's Market on Tuesdays from 5 to 7. I'm at Cheers Altamont at 7 o'clock on Thursdays. Please come out. Really nice place. And I'm also at first and third Mondays at Orlando Brewing at 7 o'clock doing trivia there as well.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I like to talk to people in microphones, evidently. That's what I do.
Hey, Mandaddy.
Yeah.
Get everyone out of here.
All right. You've been really enjoying the night today and
Lips
everything.
are right
and
on that mic.
We're just having a good time talking
Look
to
at
you
them all
about
walking
everything,
through.
and you're having a wonderful night. But now it's done. You're gonna get out. Get out of the fort. Get out of the fort.
They're
Turn
running.
around and start walking. I want to see nothing but the backs of the hands. Get out of the fort right now. You've been listening to Fort Fritz.
Until next time, pleasant dreams.